Welcome back to the channel. This is the upgraded 2025 model of the Wallke X3 PRO MAX. I'm going to show you what's in the box and how this bike gets put together, hopefully making your assembly project a little bit easier. Let's get into it. The Wallke X3 PRO MAX is finally here and it's time to assemble it. Let's get into it. First things first, pull this top off. Wow, that's really tight. I knew when there was no banding on it, it was gonna be a tough one to pull apart. Let's get some leverage. Holy smokes. I mean, I don't consider myself a weak person. This thing is really glued down. Do I got a crowbar? That was tough. This thing is massive. Take our accessories box out of here for now. Those look like our chargers, actually. We'll go ahead and tip the box over, slide it out. I recommend just cutting the box. Way easier. Let's start cutting off some of these zip ties and then we'll show you what we have in the box. I always say it, make sure you're just cutting one of your zip ties and not one of your lines. You can see they look pretty similar. X3 Max, www.wallkebike.com. There's our handlebars. And a 7-speed Shimano thumb shifter. There's a lot of metal here. Looks like this bike comes with fenders front and back. That's really nice. Dual motor and Velocity tires. Wow, they're massive. 26 by 4 inch. Once you get everything unpacked, here's what you should have. The bike frame with the tire on it, your front tire, this box here, 2 white boxes, a fender, and most likely your accessories box. We'll go ahead and open everything up and show you what's inside each. This is going to be our batteries. Actually, that's one battery. That is the battery for our back rack. The other battery must still be in the bike. Wow, that's a big battery. Inside our 2 white boxes are going to be our 2 chargers. There's one, see if the ends are the same, and 2. There's our rear battery and our chargers. Our fender. And in this last accessories box, some zip ties, our pedals left and right, sweet looking headlight. These look like they're probably the brackets to hold the battery on. Put them over there for now. A nice set of Allen wrenches, very nice. Some wrenches and the book. So here's everything that came in the shipping box all unpacked so you can see all the items separately. This is everything that you should have when you unpack your box. Not only are you going to have one 750 watt hub motor, but you're going to have 2. That's right, this is a dual motor e-bike. That looks sharp. You're going to have some all-terrain 26 by 4 inch Velocity tires, and they're going to be mounted on these really sharp looking black mag rims. Let's start off putting the handlebars on. That's where I usually start. So before we put the handlebars on, we want to make sure that our stem and our fork are going the correct direction before we do that assembly. So let's go ahead and do that. So for packing purposes, they have the stem going the wrong direction. We want to turn it around so that it's sticking out the front. If you come down to the bottom and take a look at your front forks, those are usually turned too when you get the bike. So you're going to want to make sure that your brake caliper is on that left side. As long as your brake caliper is on this left side, you know you have the forks turned the right direction. Just like that. You want to bring your handlebars and your wires around the left side of the fork here, and then we're going to mount it up here just like that. We'll go ahead and remove all 4 screws, take the plate off so we can install our handlebars. Nice to see they put a little grease on them. We'll go ahead and pick up our handlebars, and you're going to want to make sure that this control pad is over on the left side. Then you know that you're installing them correctly. And then your 7-speed Shimano shifter will be over here on the right side. Let's go reattach that faceplate. Okay, when you're tightening down this faceplate, you want to make sure that you're going crisscross. You want to make sure you're going from like top left to bottom right, top right to bottom left. You just want to make sure that you're not tightening them down unevenly. We want to make sure we square up our handlebars to the front fork, And then we're going to want to tighten down these 2 screws here. Make them nice and tight. Let's go ahead and raise it up right out of the gate. I know I'll like mine in more of an upright position anyways, so we'll go ahead and loosen it up and bring it up. So this is really nice. The bike comes with an adjustable stem. You don't see that often, and when you do, you appreciate it. You're gonna also have a screw underneath here that needs to be loosened up so that you can adjust that stem. And now we can raise that stem up a bit higher. I know I'll like it in a more upright position, so we'll try it right here for now. I'm gonna go ahead and flip the bike upside down to make putting the front tire on a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and unscrew this piece here. This is just on there for shipping only. We can take this off and get rid of it. But here's something a little bit different. I've not seen this on a bike before, so I'm gonna take a look in the book just because I've never seen that before. So these are called U-shape washers. I have never seen any of these on a bike before, but I'll be honest with you, anytime you can add a little extra protection to a bike, especially one that goes as fast as these, it's a good thing. I guess that stays right in there. And then we drop this back on after our tire's on. Okay, let's go ahead and assemble our tire. Remove these protective caps off the end here. Man, that's a big tire. Now that we pulled out that spacer, you want to make sure you don't press down on that brake handle. You don't want those pistons to come together and touch in there. Let's go ahead and get our wheel on. I usually like to take all the hardware off just so I'm not fumbling around with it, trying to put it on the bike. So let's go ahead and do that. This is a 203 millimeter rotor. That's huge. And that has to line up right in between those brake pads right here. So we have Logan 4-piston hydraulic brakes and 203 millimeter rotors, and those things are super thick. Let's go ahead and get that wheel lined up and see what it looks like. Keep in mind there's a motor up front here, so it might be a little bit of a different install than you're used to for a front tire. And I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. So if you look here, there's a flat part on this axle, and that's so the motor can't get away and start spinning. So we're gonna have our 2 washers here on either side, and we're gonna leave them just the way they are. I'm sliding our rotor between them brake pads and resting the axle up here near the fork. And now we're gonna have to turn this so it falls down into that groove correctly. Because you remember this axle has a flat part on it, so we're gonna have to turn it and let it drop right into place just like that. Perfect. So you can see that flat part on there on the axle is right there. Seats in there perfectly. Be mindful that you have your motor wire here spinning around with you, so you don't want that to be in the wrong spot. So it looks like it's coming over the front here, the opposite side of the caliper. So you can see ours is doing the same thing, and then we're gonna attach it down here just like that. And that's what them zip ties are probably for as well. Let's go ahead and get our hardware on here. So remember, we have this piece here with the little notch in it, and that's gonna go just like this. And the notch fits right between that groove, and then our nut is going to go right on top of it just like that. And then over on the other side, that directional spacer washer slides right in here, and then we'll put our nut on this side as well and tighten that down by hand on both sides. Give it a couple nice turns with the wrench and switch from side to side. You don't want to turn everything on one side. You want to make sure you're tightening everything down evenly. We're going to reinstall this C-shape washer. Let's go ahead and do the other side. So I think what the C-shaped washer does is it keeps the axle straight and stops it from spinning. Because if the axle started spinning, it would rip the motor wire right off. Simple as that. Usually you have to adjust the brakes when you install the front tire, but that's perfect. Not even a scrape. I'm gonna go ahead and attach the front motor wire. There's an arrow on both sides here. We wanna line them both up and just plug it in. And then you're gonna go ahead and screw it down. I'm just gonna go ahead and put one zip tie on here just to hold this down out of the way for now so it doesn't catch on anything while we're working here. Well, the bike's upside down. Let's go ahead and attach our pedals. I'm always gonna say it, there's a left and a right. Make sure you're putting the left pedal on the left side and the right pedal on the right side. You don't wanna cross thread them. And it looks like these are metal foldable pedals. Make it nice and snug. Okay, let's get the pedal on the right side as well. Make it nice and snug. Simple as that. Okay, let's go ahead and flip the bike right side up now. Let's go ahead and assemble the front light and fender. We're gonna use the hardware that's already in the bike, and we're gonna mount it just like this. Our fender is gonna come up behind, and our light is gonna get mounted just like this. On the back side, we have a lock washer and a washer. And on the front, we also have a lock washer and a washer. Your washer, lock washer, and your screw. Then we bring our fender up along the back side here. And we put our washer, lock washer, and our nut. Let's go ahead and get them tightened down. You're gonna hold one side with the wrench. The other side, we're just gonna screw it tight. You just want to get it started so that you can start getting it tightened down here and put some tension on it, and then you can straighten it up. Don't worry about the light and the fender flopping around at first. You just want to get it started. Once you have a little tension, you'll be able to maneuver it. A little trick I do sometimes is take a piece of styrofoam or something, stick it underneath that fender just to hold it up for me. We'll go ahead and do our fender arms. Just going to go ahead and back out the existing hardware from our fender arms. Back out our screw and washer and do the same with the other side of the fender arm. Afterwards, we'll put more zip ties and cut them off at the ends. Then make sure they're nice and tight. There you have it. We left it a little loose up at the top because we wanted to tighten it down after we got the fender arms on a little bit better. So let's go ahead and finish tightening this down as well. Okay, that's pretty tight there. So the fender and the front light are assembled. Let's go ahead and hook up the electronics for this light. So now we'll just connect the yellow wire to the yellow wire that's dangling here. So you're gonna wanna take it and line it up. There's a notch here, so you could go ahead and line them up perfectly even. So we'll line up the arrows and plug it in. Just like that. So the fender and the light are assembled. So included on the bike is plastic fenders front and rear. So you're gonna have this nice bold headlight and you'll be able to adjust it while you're riding. Looks like we're gonna have a really nice cushiony seat here. It has a decent amount of memory foam and some suspension underneath there. And a quick release, and our seat post is 33.9 millimeters. So we have this bag of parts to install the back battery onto the rack, and we have these rubber buckle pads that are going to go on each corner. So let's start with that first. Doesn't look like it has to go on any particular direction. You just want one in each corner. Next thing we're going to do is take our battery and rest it right on top of these brackets. I'm gonna make sure a pad is under each leg here when I lay it down. This is gonna be one heavy bike, but it's gonna have some serious distance because of that. So now we're gonna take our bolt, 2 washers and nut, and put one on each leg. Put a washer on each side, one on this side, and one to the inside. And we'll go ahead and get all 4 of those started. Now that we have a nut, bolt, and washers on each one of these legs, let's go ahead and hold the back of the nut with our wrench and tighten them down with our Allen wrench. We'll do this for all 4 legs. And it's that easy. The rear battery is assembled. And you want to make sure everything's tightened down nice and tight. Go ahead and hook up our battery power. I'm going to run it right through where the rear suspension is and plug it in, and we'll see how that works out. Just looks neater and out of the way. Okay, that's going to wrap this up for the assembly video of the Wallke X3 PRO MAX. And if you have a friend or family member that's looking to purchase one of these bikes, there'll be links in the description for you to do so. Like always, thanks for watching. Ride safe. Have fun. See ya.